On Shabbat, I would spend my time going to the casinos, playing Texas Hold'em, playing with the best players in the world. The biggest game there was, when I would show up, they'd start a new game. Not really a good sign, by the way. But I was a good player because I had no fear, because I had lots of money. And I beat a lot of players. I played in tournaments. I won some. I didn't realize that I was stealing this whole time. Most Jews don't know that gambling is stealing. That's the problem. While my business was kosher, very kosher. We did honest investments, honest fees, honest everything. My hobby was a big problem. Why is gambling stealing? Now, if you're betting against, you're thinking, okay, listen, I'm going to play Texas Hold'em with my buddy. He's my friend. We're going to pay for $100. What's the big deal? It's just a bunch of friends. Not $50,000 like Mr. Reuven. It's not. It's $100. The problem is that even if your friend has millions and millions in the bank, but he loses even $100 to you, he doesn't really want to give it to you. No one wants to give you anything, not from a loss. He'll lend you the money if you need to borrow the money. He'll even give you a gift if he has millions and he's generous. But he'll never want to lose it to you, which means that when you win that $100, you're stealing it from him. And there's one problem with stealing versus every other avera, every other sin. Even if someone found a way to be a righteous person, if they have stealing in their hands, when they show up to the door of Gan Eden, they will not let you in. No thief has ever entered Gan Eden. No thief will ever enter Gan Eden. The person has to go back in the Gilgul and come back to this life, to this world, and pay back the neshama that he stole from. This is a problem. This is a serious problem because us Jews, we like to gamble. Second reason why gambling is not allowed is because gambling is done in a place that's usually full of immodesty. Chas v'shalom, if you actually end up at a casino, Hashem HaShem, what's there? It's not only not modest, but it's a full chilul Hashem, especially when the guy shows up with a kippah, like I used to go and see people. All the fake Hasidish guys with a nice hat and the payas and the black and white sitting in the same table next to me. Same game. By the way, those people, if you ever see them, they're not real. If they're in a casino, they're just wearing a costume. Don't get taken back by anything. They just like to wear a costume. You wear a costume on Purim, they wear a costume all year round. The machmirim. A righteous person belongs in two places. Or three. Either he's studying Torah, he's at work to provide for his family, or he's at home taking care of his family. The casino is not one of those places. So people like that have a special place in Gehenom. Why? Because they're doing something much worse than stealing. They're making the worst possible sin in Judaism called Chilul Hashem. Someone like me, before I became religious, would justify myself because of them. I said, listen, I'm here, I'm not religious. I'm being me. What are you doing here? You're supposed to be this holy person. You get to know all these gamblers, by the way, whether they're professionals that you see on television or they're just a guy that's starting out, they're all degenerates, by the way. Every single one of them is a degenerate. Most of them do not have any money, even if they just won a $2 million tournament, because they usually borrow the money from somebody else and they owe the money. They're all degenerates. And in general, 99% of them do not have any money. But nonetheless, us Jews are not allowed in those places. Last part of why gambling is not allowed is because Chazal says that if gambling was allowed, the world would go and become Sodom and Gomorrah. So aside from the immodesty, which obviously goes against protecting your eyes, which creates a lot of sins, which we'll talk about Be'ezrat Hashem tomorrow, and aside from the Chilul Hashem, and aside from the stealing, you're putting yourself in a very, very big dilemma with Hashem. So you have to stay away from those places.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.